All right. Episode 2 of My Friends Are Dope. I guess this is what I'm calling it now. It has a name now.
Pretty fitting.
Fitting name. I think it's good.
Works out well.
All right. Well, for those of y'all who don't know, Micah Daniel Lewis, and I'm joined here. I'm down here in Los Angeles, LA, Cali. I'm here with one of my closest friends who also happens to be a fellow New York native. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are?
Intros are always funny.
Because they're kind of weird, but like...
Yeah.
Because I would just say, yo, this is just Adam, but to someone who doesn't know who Adam is, like...
I'm Adam. That's... I'm Adam Davis. I make pictures and I teach kids. And I live in Koreatown. That's as much as any of your business at the time.
You bum ass niggas, that's all you need to know.
Everything else they'll roll out, I'm sure, throughout the course of the whole thing. But yeah, I'm black, I take pictures, and I'm a teacher.
So tell me what you got going on right now. Like what is a day in your life like right now?
I wake up at 6 every day to Boris Gardner's Every Nigga Is a Star every day. Take shower, make some breakfast, feed my dog, skate to work. And then I work 7:30 to 6 every day. And I come home, work on a book, exercise, do schoolwork. I'm trying to... If any of y'all got vegetarian or vegan recipes after y'all see this, I don't know how like the feedback
swing that works. The feedback is great. Yo, so if there's anything that you want to...
Because I be trying to... I can cook, but I don't know nothing. I need some recipes. So whoever's going to be watching this, put some recipes up on the thing. I don't know where it goes. Click subscribe here, or like...
The box will be somewhere.
Put recipes like right over here.
We could do that.
I don't know, something. Because, yeah, I'll try to like make some food. I don't eat meat no more. So we over here trying to eat.
How come you don't eat meat?
Because it's expensive.
Talk about it.
Eating meat is expensive. I live in my own apartment now, and I'm pseudo broke. And the one thing that I took out of my budget for the month was meat. There's no dietary reasons for it. I mean, meat in California is low-key trash because everything's poisoned for the most part. Mm-hmm. But it was like, oh, I spend like half of the bill at Ralph's or any other supermarkets on meat. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I can't afford to do this, so I'm just not doing it no more. And that's it. If someone can pay for me to eat bacon, come through.
Man, listen, you can have the rest of the turkey bacon I cop. You can have that Jenny O's. Yeah. That's what I had to do too, because when I stopped with pork first.
Swine is
garbage. Trash. And then I went to turkey bacon. When I went to, just to see how much cheaper like actual Jenny O's bacon is compared to like the bacon you buy from the store, it's mad different.
Yeah.
Like it's $3 versus like paying $5 to $6 for just bacon.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And it's like not even that nutritional either. Like it's just bacon. It's not like a staple. You can't really make much with it.
Yeah.
Other than it's just bacon. I don't know.
Buying fruits and vegetables are much cheaper.
You feel better since like cutting meat out?
Yeah.
Officially?
Yeah. I lost weight, but that's just because like my metabolism's wild. I just lose weight easily. Plus exercising, just running, you just shed weight. But in terms of like how I feel lighter. I definitely feel like be aware though, when you switch diets and you just eat plants, yo, your bowel movements be wild, bro. For the first,
crazy, or
like for the first like 2, because it's all fiber. You just eat fiber all day, unless you're like throwing in snacks or like chips and stuff. Like it's just green food, and your body just doesn't know how to filter it in a way that's efficient yet. So you're just every
I never thought of it like that.
every like hour you're like, where's the bathroom, bro?
Damn.
It's good for you because you just feel switching on that kind of diet. And the thing is, I didn't even ease my way into it. I just went cold turkey. That's funny, but it was like I was like, all right, I'm not buying meat anymore. Let me just not eat it, period. And it was like one day I just bought every vegetable I could get my hands on and just started to like make things from it. There was no like, okay, let's just add a little bit more kale to the bacon, egg, and cheese. But like, it was just like, nah, we're just eating greens now. So it just shocks your body. And it was just like, oh, you just filter out all the crap that's inside of your intestines. It's like everything in your GI tract just gets like shoved out. And a lot of people don't realize when you eat a burger from wherever, even if it's like the best farm fed, grass fed, blah 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 fed, whatever, it sticks in your system for like at least a month at the minimum. You can go to the nicest burger joint or you can go to McDonald's. It's all of that's inside of your body for at least a month minimum. So, and the quickest way to get it out is to just eat spinach and artichokes and
kale,
all that,
pepper.
that, yeah. And sweet potato burgers and patties taste better in my opinion anyway. Like veggie burgers taste fire.
I feel like I didn't really get into the eating healthy tip until, this is gonna sound trash, but until I got into a relationship, I was eating garbage. And you don't really think about what you're putting into your body when you live at, like, at least for me, when I was living with family, that food is already taken care of. Like, I don't have to worry about like cooking and whatnot until I go out on my own. And,
yeah.
like, I'm living by myself. And
plus it's black food, so it's just mass salt and oil and fat.
Top 3 that be killing us.
Yeah. So unless
salt and cholesterol and all of that.
What did Chappelle say? He was like,
oh, regular ass table salt. Salt, nigga. That's what be doing it.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that you haven't had like a crazy metamorphosis, and you naturally did it though. Like, it wasn't, not to say that would have been wrong if you like did it for religious or spiritual reasons or whatever, but
nah,
you just came into it naturally and was like, this shit is mad expensive. What am I spending all my money on?
Like, I love chicken. I love chicken so much, but I can't. And chicken's the cheapest of all the meats, and it still be expensive. It's the cheapest out of anything you can buy in the poultry section or the meat section at the supermarket. But it's still, like, for a pound of chicken, it's still like $7. I'm like, I don't. And it'd be like the wild, like, mutant chicken. Like the drugged out, on coke, equivalent steroid chicken.
I don't even want to look at the kind of meat, like what it was like when it was alive. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to know.
People have been like, "Oh, you should watch What the Health." It's
that
like,
is actually a really good doc.
I haven't watched it because I knew people like, if you watch it, you're never going to want to eat blah 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 again. I'm like, I'll still go to In-N-Out and watch after I watch it, but I'm happy I just didn't eat it and didn't watch. I just don't eat it, and I hadn't watched it yet because now I'll watch it. I'm like, oh, it makes sense because now I'm only eating beets or something. I don't know. It's just something that you just add into your diet over the course of time. But like, I've met people who do it for spiritual reasons, and I got beef with them, low key, because most vegans do it for the wrong reasons.
Talk about that. That's interesting.
Because PETA's never saved nobody. PETA ain't saved nothing. You've never seen PETA save one animal. They're garbage. They don't do nothing. So people who do it for those like, oh, we need to save more animals, they're like organizations that actually keep. We could eat an animal, you just gotta do it responsibly. But most of the responsibly farmed, like grass-fed, like artisanal, bespoke animals, that's not even a thing, but you get what I'm saying. But like that kind of quality of grocery is expensive. You have to go to like Erewhon,
have it flown in
or
some shit.
like Lassen's or Lawson's, or you go to like the Beverly Hills Whole Foods to get the responsibly fed animal to eat. And it's $37 for a half a pound of salmon as opposed to $12 at the Whole Foods over here or the Ralph's up the street. But like most of the time, I talk to someone, are you vegan? And everyone in LA is vegan. But it's like, why are you vegan? Oh, because we have to like save somebody. I'm like, well, what are you doing to help save it other than not eating it? It's like, people are still going to, there are people who are going to take your place in line to eat that animal.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hit it from like a deeper perspective. It's in terms of like administrative, legislative, whatever the case is, and no one's interested in doing that. Who were like actual no one's doing
Nobody
that.
wants to do the work.
No one wants to do that. So it's like, all right, you're a vegan, but you're doing it because it's trendy.
That's crazy. We should definitely go around the next time I come back and definitely talk to people about why are you vegan.
Yeah,
I would love to see the answers about what motherfuckers be giving out. Like
a lot of people have completely changed the dairy milk industry.
Okay, dairy is another one. Like I don't do like milk.
Almond milk.
I'm good on that.
Yeah, soy milk is low key trash too.
Soy estrogen.
Yeah, well, not so much the estrogen part of it, but just the health trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Too much soy isn't good for you. But like even too much almond milk and too much of anything isn't good for you. But like in moderation, everything can be controlled pretty well. But we completely changed cow milk industry just by getting, what is it, silk? It's in the fridge. Almond milk
silk.
Also, naming a milk silk is nasty.
Why you say that?
Yo, you got some silk? Like what the? That is so funny.
I mean, it does taste like silk.
It
does.
does.
The whole
It's
point
like
of naming it that.
Greg, I've never just drank the milk
By itself?
by itself. No, it's always it's always in something.
Mm.
But like the industry for like trees are either dying. We have to cut down more trees to plant and get more almond nuts. And that certain countries who are dependent upon that part of the industry are either like out of all their resources because they're trying to keep up with our demand for almond milk, or the dairy cow milk industry is completely suffering because now there's like an excess of cows who only are used to produce milk that aren't healthy enough to be like burger meat. So like everything's changing as opposed to where we put our dollar, and that's like the food industry is one of those like really. I think I wish my memory was good. But there's like an illustration that I saw that. All right, what are you doing? There's an illustration that I saw. Stop.
This is our third guest.
This is my dog.
We got Carmen.
She black too. There's a
She good.
infographic. That's an infographic. It's an interesting word. The infographic that I saw about like the last like 5 to 10 years of the dairy industry,
mm-hmm.
and how it's completely like changed over time just based on like where we put our money. And I guess I contribute to it, but in terms of like the reasoning behind it, I feel like vegans are like, it doesn't connect.
Part of the problem?
Yeah, it doesn't connect at all.
All right, so look, you've been out in LA for how long now?
It's officially 2 years.
Officially 2 years.
Yeah.
What has been, because I know you back from New York. That was where we met.
Yeah.
We met back home. What do you feel like your biggest challenge has been since you came out here, other than the vegans and dealing with like that whole weird element to it? But
the more I think about that kind of stuff, the biggest obstacle has been myself. Like being from a big city, you can do anything.
Mm.
You're like a superhero. And people who, like when I was living in West Virginia, And they were like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm from New York." They're like, "What? You're from New York City? Like Times Square, Manhattan, like Empire State Building?" It's like, all right, yeah. That's just the norm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like moving out here, it's like trying to acclimate, and yeah, trying to find friends and genuine people and work artistically and whatever the case is. That can present itself to be an issue, but I think all of those issues stem from within. Like I'm at a place now where there's a ton of problems in my way, there's a ton of obstacles in my way, but like my willingness to take on those challenges is a lot higher, deeper, higher. Like I'm more open and more confident in taking on those obstacles as opposed to when I first moved out here. And it was a different shift in just mentality of like, oh, I can do it. There wasn't really there wasn't really like a time tracker for me to like really sit down with myself and be like, oh, in like 6 months or a year I want to be able to be here. Like I drew this little like a little cartoon the other day, a couple nights ago, where it was like my gravestone says my name and it says like he took his time.
We were just joking about that earlier, but you for real gonna put that on your tombstone?
I don't know if it'll like actually be there, but we were on set. I was like, I want to. That's like my thing. I take my time with everything now, and it all pays off. This last like 8 months have been super slow in terms of what I've been doing outwardly, but inside. Inside, Carmen, you ruined it. You had your chance. You had your chance, kid. Inside, it was like I noticed changes within everything about me, and it was fast because I took my time with everything else in my life. Because when you live in a big city, everything goes fast, so you move fast, and then you don't have time to really sit with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But the best thing about living in a big city is you can watch everything go fast around you. But if you take time and like process everything accordingly in an appropriate manner, in an appropriate time, you can be comfortable within yourself enough to be like, everything else is burning around me, but I'm chilling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the point where I'm at now. But like, nothing is literally or figuratively burning, but I'm comfortable enough with myself and like what it is that I want to do and where I want to be in my life. And it's completely irrespective of financial stability or that's really it, really. Like $0 in my bank account, really, but so I'm comfortable enough to just take on that challenge as one of the things that are in my way, obstacle-wise. But there's a lot of different things that have changed mentally for me in the past however long. That makes a genuine difference in how I go about moving around LA. Because LA is gross. But it's beautiful at the same time. Someone told me, I forgot who it was, they had like this, they said New York is like fun hell and LA is like boring heaven.
Interesting.
And that makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense to me just because I've only been out here a few times, but boring heaven.
Boring heaven. Because people come out here and they're like, oh, we're going to see palm trees and the Hollywood Boulevard and the US Bank building and think it's like everything you've ever wanted, and it's not. I never came out here with that mentality of like, oh, I'm going to see all the sights.
You think it's because you're not from here, though? That you didn't have that notion of like, oh, I need to go and see all this touristy shit in order to be happy? Most
people who come out here, even from New York, have that like, oh, I want to go see the Walk of Fame. I don't care about the Walk of Fame. I don't care about any of that stuff. But it's more so like people have this preconceived notion of what it is to live in LA and like the kind of people who live in LA. And as with most stereotypes, there is a small sliver of truth in there, but the hyper ideal of just what it is to be in LA is so gross, and people live it out in real time, and I just see it all the time, and it's like very interesting and funny to like boring heaven is the best way to put it.
That's interesting
because it's very fun to live here. Very fun. Like the other night, the art opening was really like there are fun things to do out here.
Yo, speaking of, we got to talk about that.
What?
In terms of like how it goes with like the scene of people that can just come out here.
Yeah.
Like the way that people connect versus like the way that we're used, or at least the way that I'm like back home, back east, the way it's done differently. Just like that pressure of, you said it interesting, like Hollywood niggas can almost be anywhere. It's not necessarily an LA thing, which I've always had it in my head, like me not liking LA types until I actually came out here and started like going to events and seeing what real people are actually doing here, you know? Like, so this event, like, we get there, art gallery event, the lights go out because there's a thunderstorm the whole night.
It's tight.
And we are looking at pictures by candlelight. There's no electricity. It's Dina Lawson's work, like, hella dope.
Yeah.
Really black.
Everything.
Raw, like, everything you want in a photo, like, and we're looking at it by candlelight. But there's mad, like, famous niggas that's coming through in and out. Like, Jesse Williams showed up.
Brad Pitt
showed up. Macklemore showed up. Like, I didn't even think these people go out, like, for celebrity events, much less, like, why would they come out for...
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like...
Tracy Ellis Ross was there, according to Brandon.
Tracy Ellis Ross was there, like...
Dina, she was there, too. And according, he saw what she looked like, because we Googled, Janelle and I Googled what she looked like. This is... the fact that I have to Google your face is so tight. Like, I don't want anyone to know what I look like. But, hi, everyone. But, like, it's funny to, like, have that be a thing. According to him, she looks like a regular human being.
Which I think is dope. Because
she's a twin, too.
Tracy Ellis Ross?
No, Dina Lawson.
Dina Lawson, sorry.
Dina and Dana Lawson. And Brandon's a twin, so it's like...
Wow, Brandon does have a twin.
His brother's in my book, and I interviewed Brandon, and James is modeling in the book.
Wait, okay, so look, that changed my perspective of what I thought LA could be, because up until that point, I didn't expect to get that many dope people in a room and not have a big mob of niggas, like, being weird around, like, celebrity niggas. Like,
it's because, like, one, I make it a point to not be around nobody, like, weird. But also, like, when you first came out here, I was like, we have to go to the UM because they cultivate a community in which everybody's regular. Jesse's there all the time, according to them. I've seen him at one other thing, but it was like word of mouth, like, oh, Jesse Williams here. I didn't see his face several times. I didn't introduce myself to Jesse Williams like I did the other night. But it was like, they do such a great job of cultivating a community in which you can just pull up. Everybody's like auntie when you go there. There's no like ego. And people do have egos, but it's shaped in a way where it's not disruptive. It's like everyone dresses well because that's just how LA is, but it's black, so you know it's like from a cultural taste, intentional point of view, and everyone there seems to be like vibrating on the same frequency at the same time. So it was like you could be the most shy person in the back of the room chilling, or you could be the most outgoing, flamboyant person in the room, but everyone seems to be fitting within the puzzle that is that community. And it's like that same crowd, I guarantee you I'll see at the next thing and the next thing, or events that are related to something that the UM has going on at CAM or the California African American Museum, or like some KCRW event that's being held with a black DJ that everyone knows, that entire crowd will uproot itself and go to the next thing. And those are the kind of people that I'm starting to surround myself with a lot more now.
Well, because then those are the people that will come out to your show and like that'll spend their dollars on your stuff when you have projects going out. And,
yeah.
Like you have to put that energy out forward, which I appreciated seeing that.
Yeah.
Like from an event, because in New York we're so used. At least me, I'm just used to influencer events. Which is like different kinds of people and just.
You've been an influencer though.
But I still don't like them though.
But, and I say been as in past tense because I don't think you embody what that is anymore.
I definitely try not to.
Yeah. But it makes an influencer at the genesis of that term wasn't what it is today.
2015, like 2013 to 2015, what influencer was being passed around as is not the same as 2018 influencer at all. It's two totally different things.
Like influencer was like, the influencer then was past fashion. Because when we started, like the small group of us that started photography around the same time, none of us knew what we were doing.
That was the fun shit about it though.
So fun.
It was like I'll liken it to like the going to the gallery, like the fact that the lights were off.
Yeah.
You couldn't look at the person next to you and be like, oh, yo, like, how's my fit look? Like, is my fitted straight? Like, you're just there embracing the art just because that's what everyone's there for, that purpose.
It's the same. Yeah, that's a good connect. Like this.
You get what I mean?
It's
like,
the same thing. Yeah.
When the lights come on, then it's like, not to say that this happens, but at least for me, or at least artists in general, like, we're very like sensitive types.
I'm a crybaby.
You get what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I felt like just the way that those events used to come off, like they used to be like wandering around in the dark when we were just figuring our cameras out and nobody knew everything. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's a know-it-all, and that's when it stops becoming fun, is because like niggas know everything.
That's why I switched to, part of the reason why I switched to film. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so fun.
Film changed my life in terms of like not even just like career-wise, but slowing things down, like we talked about earlier, but like slowing down in terms of like not going through 2,000 photos in an hour. Yeah. Like you can't do that with film. Like you have to take your time. Like
I got 10 tries.
That, lucky, I got a 6x7 back, so that means I only get 8.
Yeah. I got 10 good tries to make something.
Or 6x8. Sorry, I got a 6x8 back.
Yeah.
But
so you gotta really use your brain. And I think I'm in the process now of really putting an exponential amount of effort into creating and making real what's in my head, and it's all through film. And it's the most fun I've had making things in a long time. Like I went to Japan and I got back with like 40 to 50,000 pictures to edit through. I'm like, dude, don't you ever do this again.
You'll never take that many pictures ever again?
Never. Even if it's like client work with someone's like, I'll give you $1 million to take 50,000 photos. Like I'll take the 1 million and bring them like 30. Just because I don't ever want to just have that much of anything. I don't want anything. Like all this stuff, like this is just stuff that I think was cool, but it was just like, oh, I should get that because it's just something that I will add to my life. But like that many photos. First, it was the first time me leaving the country. Second, at the time, I think Africa's taken its place, even though I've never been. But at the time, Japan was like my favorite country. Period. Like I want to go there so bad. And although I haven't been to Africa yet, I plan on going sometime early next year. But like, I was just like, oh my goodness, Japan, letting like ring off on everything. Even the most, mundane scenery is the best to me. So I was just snapping people buying groceries. And that was just the coolest thing to me because like, the structure in which people follow doing the littlest things like walking down the street or buying groceries or buying a train ticket, those are the most exciting things for me to see. And it was from a lens of street photography. We both started street photography. I don't do street anymore. So it was like, looking back on those photos now, I'm like, dude, why were you taking this picture? What was the reason for it? Because now I do portraits and I'm like, I have to tell a story with someone's face as opposed to the entire thing. And so I never want to do that again. How can I, like, quite literally slow myself down and take more meaningful photos without the hassle of sitting in front of a computer till 4 a.m. going through 10,000 selects. Like, there's on my website, there's a spot where it's like the people that I shoot and the places that I've been. And in like the Japan section of it, there's only like 20 pictures
out of the 50,000.
So I went through 50,000. I don't even think I went through all 50,000. But like I went through at least like 4,000 to 5,000 photos just to pick out 20. I never want to do that again. So with film, I have 10 shots. I'm going to make all 10 amazing. And even if they're not amazing, I learned something from it. I never learned anything from taking 20,000 photos in a day. Didn't learn a thing. If anything, I know digital camera setting is a lot better, but I don't shoot digital anymore. I don't need that.
You got rid of everything digital?
Sold 60, sold the batteries, sold the grip, sold the lenses, sold everything to this one kid at Starbucks. Shout out to whoever, I forgot your name because my memory's not good. But yeah, I sold everything to this one kid off Craigslist at Starbucks one day. And shout out to Michael. I remember your name because you're white and you live in Long Beach. And shout out to my man's Michael because he sold me my whole RB kit. And yeah, it was cheaper, which means I had a couple of extra dollars to play around with for film. And yeah, he was like, you know, it's going to be a lot more expensive in the long run to shoot film, right? I'm like, yeah, I get that, but it pays off. Like the payoff is a lot better. And slowing down my consumption of food, my consumption of media, my consumption of it's about everything. It's helped me get to the point now. I was talking to Miles about this yesterday. You guys should look up Miles Regis.
I'll put him somewhere up here.
Look up Miles Regis.
Miles Regis.
Amazing artist. We were talking about it yesterday. Being able to create at a high level, but you have to take your time to get to that point where you're ready to just your creative output is the fastest it'll ever be, or the fastest it'll ever be in that point in time. And I'm just hitting that now. Where like I plot on my next couple of paychecks where I'm like, I'm gonna buy this box of film and I know it's gonna go to already. Or like this, like I'm gonna buy like 4 boxes of Portra, a couple boxes of Fuji, and then just snap. And I know where it's going, why it's going, who it's gonna get to, like. And there are different projects of mine that I want to do, and it's because I took my time and like detached myself from a lot of the different things that are going on around me. Especially as LA, you can get caught up in so much stuff.
I'm saying though, but if you plan though, like I feel like having a plan and shooting film almost requires you to have that all thought out in advance, because you're not like the digital stuff. You're not going to see it all like right up front. You're not going to see the results right up front. I feel like that adds to the mystery of it, but it also like it challenges you to like plan better, like think about what's going on and like be more cognizant of, like you said, the consumption of like even just resources, like your time even. Because like my interaction with subjects now is so different. Even just like, because shooting street, first of all, shooting with Mamiya walking around, just period.
Looks wild.
Looks crazy. But like even just with shooting portraits, like you have to take your time in terms of like sitting and you telling me about how you spend time talking to subjects for like
hours
before we even take a picture.
I don't take my camera out until I told myself for a while like the minimum amount of time that I want to be able to talk to somebody, especially if I don't know them or I haven't had a conversation like that. Minimum is 1 hour. The first couple of shoots that I did, I wouldn't look at it, but I would start a timer on my phone, and it would vibrate in my pocket. I'm like, all right, you ready to take pictures now? After 1 hour of conversation. And it just happened to be like the phone would go off and we'd still be mid conversation, and it'd be like such a nourishing interaction that I didn't want it to stop. So now I'm like, when it feels right, then we'll do it. I don't want to rush anything. And the crazy part about that is, like, even making the book, like, every time I've had people over to shoot, they always say when they get here, like, oh, I have to leave at a certain point in time. Like, I have to do something. And then we end up going like 2 to 3 hours over. Mm-hmm. And they always, and it's, I'm trying to be as humble about it as possible, because I don't want to seem cocky at all, because I'm not. But like, they always thank me afterwards for like thank them, such like a great,
just talking,
just thank you for, I haven't spoken about that in a long time, like, help me, whatever the case. Like, that makes that much more of a difference, and it shows in the images afterwards. So it's like a minimum, like, unless it's like, which I don't really plan on getting to, but if it comes my way, cool. Like fashion editorial, like quick pace type stuff. Like, I don't know the model, but they know how to pose, and I can be like, all right, do this, do that, do that, and it'll work itself out. But besides that kind of scenario, if they're coming to my studio, or if I'm meeting them somewhere on location, like, we're kicking it first. I have no interest in taking photos, because it's expensive. I don't want to mess up or like rush it, and then I'm going to waste $2 on one shot that looks trash because we don't feel comfortable around each other. It's pointless. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to waste my time.
I'm going to waste my time scanning the shit. Like,
yeah.
Because you're doing all this shit by yourself. Well,
no one realizes that either. Yeah. If you hire somebody and they shoot film, chances are they scanning it themselves, or they're paying somebody, which y'all don't pay for, to put money towards somebody else scanning it at the place that gets it developed. And if the photographer is developing it themselves, they got all them chemicals that they crave that they paid for, that y'all still not paying for, and don't put into account for their budgeting, which you should, because it's very considerate, because this stuff costs lots of money. But all of this stuff is being done by us. I'm learning how to develop. I promise I'm going to learn how to do that. But I'm going to develop, scan, edit, archive, and publish my own everything.
It takes like 3 hours for me to make an image now. Just from getting to the film, shooting it. I don't have access to the lab, but when I was in Chicago, I was developing everything at home.
Yeah.
Like, all the chemicals, and then scanning everything. It took me like mad long to get to a roll, and it's like coming from digital, where it's like all of your client shit was like overnight.
2 seconds. And
everybody wants you to like create all this content for a digital platform that's like now become basically an algorithm, mm-hmm. in which the way people consume shit, it's like the more content you can make, the better. Like, however many pictures you could shoot, like, multiply by 10. That was how much like these producers and art directors were looking to make. Like, that's what they wanted.
The algorithm is to post, and the only reason I know this, because I became cool with someone who teaches people how to become successful Instagram people, and using it as a tool to promote and make money off of. They're like, the algorithm proposes that one should post 2 to 4 times a day. And that's how you get your work seen.
That's so crazy.
You have to be in everyone's face so much so that you have to be in everyone's face so much that they don't have a choice but to pay attention.
Which is fucked up to think about.
You have to know. At this point, you either have to be really good and have been established well before the algorithm came into place, or you either have to be good enough and established enough, or you have to just bug people.
That's what it feels like, though, when you post now. Like,
you have to be in someone's face.
You're just bugging.
You have to be in someone's face all the time.
I can't create film work like that under those kind of conditions. That's the thing. Like, shooting with my phone was even easier because you just do everything on the phone. Like, it's all start to finish.
Yeah.
Then you move to a camera. Then it's like, all right, well now there's process part of this. Now I have to upload these pictures off the camera, put them into a program, edit them, and then send them back to my phone.
It's back and forth process.
Just back and forth. And then now when you add film into it, and it's like, all right, in order to be established, quote, well liked on Instagram, whatever that means, I have to post 2 to 4 times a day when it takes up to 3 to 4 hours to develop and process an image. If you don't have all the money to just, because the shit isn't cheap, developing and scanning and getting someone else to do it, and especially if you're not doing it for client work, like it gets expensive. So it's like, why continue to try to feed that for a machine that's not even gonna really...
Buy your own scanner, by the way.
It's cheap.
Buy a scanner.
It is cheap.
Do it. Just do it.
I'll link one. The CanoScan.
CanoScan.
Yeah.
Was it you who told me about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
CanoScan 9000.
Mark II. Get it. $100 on Amazon. Saves you thousands of dollars in the long run. It takes 2 minutes per photo to scan, but it's better.
Would you rather spend more time on something and doing it yourself, or would you rather spend the money and get someone else to do it and have someone else's hands on it?
I don't trust nobody.
See,
bro.
that's what it comes down to. It's like,
I don't trust anyone with my stuff.
I'd rather spend the time doing it, because even like you just said, buying the upfront, it's one of those upfront costs where it's like, me spending this now, I'm gonna save all this bread down the road. But that's the scary part that people don't get over, is like, oh, but I have all this, like, you're in control of it now. Like from start to finish, making the image and developing and processing it, it's all on you now. Versus like, oh, I'll just pay someone to do, like, even when you start doing it, it's different.
I have so much respect for people who develop, enlarge, print, do the whole for their own work. That's so... Shout out... What's this book? Andre Wagner and Giancarlo Valentine. They black, they are fire, and they develop, scan, enlarge, print, publish their own everything.
Yeah, I don't even have the room for all that.
I have such respect for people who, like, you have a hand in a significant part of the process, but the enlarging, the printing, and all that stuff, that's like its own, it's a whole other, it's literally other machines that you need to purchase for thousands of dollars, which is like a thing that I do eventually want to get my hands on. But those, like, being a part of everything, it takes time. I'd rather spend the time, because I don't want a lot of good work. I don't want a lot of work. I want a little amount of good work.
And do you feel like switching from digital did that for you, or it's helped at least?
Yeah, because all this, I remember a time when people were hating or like throwing shade on people who used Visco film on their Lightroom presets. The filters, where if you use filters on your digital stuff, good for you. Oh well, like I used it too. Who cares?
We all did it.
Everyone did it. Who? So what? Everyone. And the thing was, like, we were all trying to make our digital look like film every day. So I was like, why not just do the real thing? Because like all the ideas I had in my head, I'm like, all right, I should have this much grain, and I'll put like 25% grain, and the grain circles would be like 8.0 size on the computer. And just buy Portrait 800, shoot it at whatever ISO, rate it down, and then just get it. Or get some T-Max 3200 and just, like, I can do that in real life with real chemicals and real film, and it looks better, and I don't have to try too hard, because using Lightroom presets takes mad long. You think it's a click of a button, but you have to, like,
it's not. Those presets are not one size fits all.
Yeah, no.
I've been through all of them, all 6 of them packs.
Shout out to everybody who bootlegged them and just sent them to my email. Y'all the real ones too, because I was not paying Visco for that.
No,
and also,
definitely in the bootleg.
Shout out. I know people who work at Visco too, so I shouldn't be saying that. But whatever. But it's like,
it happened already. I don't use them no more.
Yeah, I don't use it, so we good. But yeah, it was just it certainly isn't one size fits all. So you actually had to go back, and then people still do to this day. They buy or bootleg Visco presets, figure out a way that's one size fits all for their photos, make their own presets based off of the Visco presets plus their own tweaks, make that into a preset and sell that preset.
What?
Does that make sense? So you got Visco, say the Visco Porsche 400 preset. It's not one size fits all, but they have a specific style. They take the Visco preset, throw their tweaks on it that fit their style, turn those two things into their own preset, use it on their work. So they have like a complete like aesthetic going through, like they have like a concrete vision of what it is. But then once it's established enough and they think they can sell it, they take that preset and sell it to people for like $15.
Would you ever do that?
No.
I mean,
that's exploitative.
Get your money how you can, but I feel like that is...
I think that's exploiting people.
That's like selling... What is that like? That's like selling something that... A recipe for something that people already have the steps to make themselves. Yeah. They just don't know how to do it yet, and people take advantage of that.
That's exploiting in... At least artistically in the biggest sense. Only because, like you just said, there are ways to do it. It's literally just sliding a thing across the thing, and you just figure out ways to do it.
These kids are lazy today, man. They don't.
But they don't know. It's not the kid. Well, there are some kids.
Partially, there are some kids. Success.
There are some kids selling presets, but I see adults selling presets too.
Oh no, I can't.
But
why?
Paid partnerships. If it's a paid partnership, I'll do it.
Paid partnership, take it back. Like Visco.
Even without, there are other apps that do it. Other companies who like make. Visco was the first like notable one. Shout out to them for being like the first one to do it, which is why it's so popular now today. But there are companies who like reach out to people who are like, we'll cut you a check for a couple G's. Some people get like the bag, and you just make a couple presets on Lightroom. We'll have it on our platform, and you get people who are smart about it, they'll get that one bag, make the presets, and then negotiate, what's the word for it? When someone buys your product on another platform and you get a cut from it. Royalty. So you get a royalty you get like 60 cents on the dollar for every preset purchase in your name.
I would do that.
I would do that, but it would be like, the preset would be super simple. It would be like film presets. Contrast up by 5, sharpness, clarity, a little bit of saturation, that's it. No tone curve, you make that yourself, like you don't. You make that whole thing by yourself just based on what it is, and if it's film, you shouldn't have to edit anything. That's the point. I don't want to touch anything. So it's just a matter of being able to find the right constructive ways to do it. That's the only instance which I would do it. If it's just me at the house, I'm
up late to like or like making
I'm about to get in with this one. Nah, I'm cool. I wouldn't want to put anybody through that because it's very exploitative and it's lazy. I don't want to have to. It's like there are other ways to make money and get your message across through art.
Like make a book.
Takes a while, but it's worth it. It's probably the hardest thing I've done artistically. It's really fun. And I was supposed to be done in August. It's almost Christmas.
No, I mean, well, after Halloween it's basically Christmas.
Yeah, after Halloween is because Thanksgiving is like, did I go home? I didn't go home for Thanksgiving last year. So it's like, it's one of those things where, then going back to taking your time, I'm cool with it my goal for myself now is to have the show and have enough books printed so that when I go home for Christmas, I'm gonna give one to my mom and she gonna cry. That's it.
That's what's up.
That's it. Because I was supposed to fly her out here for it, but I know I can't afford to do that and fly home for Christmas because it's mad expensive to go home. But like, as long as I can have books for my family to see when I'm done with the whole process and like show like videos of the show, whatever, before I go home for Christmas, I'm cool with that. I don't care about, like, the show should initially, in theory, sell itself. It's very digestible, but also like very complex concept. But in terms of like the goals for it, or like trying to find a way to make money off of it, make a book. Make sure the message is wholesome, digestible, genuine, like all the good descriptive words to just like to embody what it is you should try to create and bring into the world. Like, I'm very conscious of what it is. And this is an art book, but my own input is very little. There's only 10 photos of mine in there. I mean, I took all the photos that are in it, but in terms of like the actual body of work that is supposed to be showcased in this book, there's only 10. There's interviews, there's poetry, there's essays, there's notes of mine. Like all of those things I care more about than the images themselves. Because I'm much more interested in the process of making as opposed to the end result. I don't care about... I was watching this video when I woke up. J. Cole was like, oh, there's no like 0 to 100. Like you should, if you could snap your fingers today and get everything you wanted tomorrow, you should never want that. You should never cheat yourself out of the process of making, like the process of getting to 100. And he was like, I'm not even at 100 myself, which is crazy to think that J. Cole, well, top 5 period,
hardest working art period.
Yeah, he said I'm at like 88 right now, and I'm gonna play you a song that I made when I was at 53, and it was the straight up now tell me, do you really want to love me forever?
That's crazy.
That song was a hit. That song was like triple platinum, but he was like, I made that at halfway. I'm like, okay.
He's in tune with himself enough to know what 53 is compared to what 88 or 100 even is.
It's the dreadlocks, bro.
It is the dreadlocks. It is the locks.
It's the dreadlocks. Yeah, so it's like, and as much of a joke as that is, like just the process of him even getting dreadlocks and like not caring about anything but internal issues and processing and going through trauma, that shows in the music and shows on his head, because that he didn't care. He was like, I don't care about any of this. I need to work on me. But like making, like I care more about the process of making rather than the end result, because I learned a lot more along the way, and the end result is just a celebration of the process to me. I don't really care. Like the photos, they're like, some of them are fire. Some of them are just like, it makes sense why they fit into the concept of what it is that I was trying to make. But the interviews, the friendships that I've made, the information that I've gathered, the openness that I've gained to be around other people, because I'm a hermit by default. So it's like just other things that I've learned and I've gathered along the way, I care a lot more about than the photos themselves. I'm going to get them printed, hopefully as big as Deanna Lawson's was.
Wow.
So they're going to be just huge.
Like,
they're going to
take up the wall
types. And like all the installs that go with the imagery will also be like a huge, like it'll be like over the top kind of thing. But it makes sense given how simple the book is. It's a simple concept, simple book, but then you extract all the information from it, and it's like multi-layered. So the art has to reflect how like multi-layered and how expressive it is from its core. And it makes a lot more sense if you look at it from that standpoint, as opposed to like, oh, I know what that is. You should never. There's some art where you should know right off the bat what it is, but in my opinion, like the best art, one, it comes from traumatic people or people who experience trauma, but two, the best art comes from when you have to like really take it apart and sit with it for a while. And that's what it is that I want to do with this whole thing. So I'm like, if I have the ability to get to the bag, make my family proud, and express myself in a way that's like multi-layered, that shows how simple but complex of a person I am, that's all I care about. Like the photos are just like, all right, that's cool. I'm cool with them being. It definitely is my best work, as opposed to what I've made in the past, and it feels better. But it's, from what I see in my head for the next couple projects in the future, they're going to be like mediocre compared to what I'm going to make in the future. But in terms of like what it is that I'm making currently, it's my best work. It means the most. It makes sense, and it's happening in like real time. So I never have to really dive too deep into it, as if it's like a memory of mine, because it's all just happening as I keep going on about my days, which feels really good. I don't ever want to like have to reflect too much.
Yeah, because you're not like rushing through anything. Like it's genuine one day at a time.
Literally, like there are 2 roles in my desk right now that I have to think about getting developed in however many days, and I gotta write a check to my building manager, and I get paid tomorrow. So it's like those are the kind of things that are like on my mind as opposed to making things. It's just happening whenever it gets about being made. I'm not really too concerned about like. The idea initially was to make the entire body of work in the month that I had off from teaching, because the last day of school was in like in June, like end of June, and then we have July off, and then August we were back. So I'm like, oh, all of July I'm gonna just crank it out. I was like, all right, let's first shoot, contact people, and they're all like, nah, we don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it wasn't on some like, we don't want to work with you, so we quite literally do not have time. And one, I respect that, because most people are like, yeah, we'll get it done, yeah. That's also super LA Hollywood people. Like,
I can't stand that shit.
Like, we'll get it done. I'm like, yo, I will wait, and I will respect you more if you just say like, not today, but definitely very soon, and I will keep you updated. Mm-hmm. There were so many people at the opening on Friday that I was like, hey. Also, shout out Rich Homie Vaughn, great singer. I walk up to her because I recognize her. I saw her sing at Lehman Space in Chinatown a couple months ago. She's really, really good, amazing singer. And I walked up to her. I was like, hey, right by the bathroom. I was like, hey, I think I saw you sing at such and such event. You're really good. I just wanted to, like, I didn't get a chance to say it to you then because we were making moves after the event was over. But I wanted to say, like, you were really good. Like, your art, like, had a lasting impact, so much so that I wanted to say how much of a fan of yours I am. She's like, oh, that's great. And I was like, hey, right before we all started dancing, I was like, hey, would you be open to, like, me taking your portrait sometime? I don't try to be, like, super creepy about it. It's like a straightforward question, but I do it in an endearing and genuine way. And she was like, yeah, like, I appreciate you coming up and, like, asking and not being worried about it. Do you have your work up anywhere? I show her the internet things on the internet, whatever. And she's like, I'm going to look over it and get back to you about it. You seem to be a cool person in person, but if your work doesn't align with what it is that I'm trying to do, then it won't happen. But if it lines up with what I want to do and how I feel like expressing myself right now, then we'll get it done. I was like, I respect that so much.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, take your time. We're about to, like, Millie Rock and Duddy Wine. Like, I don't want to talk about pictures right now, but I want to just throw it out there because I don't know if I'll ever have an opportunity to just sit down with you one-on-one and talk the talk about art. Like, I don't want to do that. It's like, here's my internet thing. You can take your time with it. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, cool. But I respect that as opposed to, like, yeah, I love getting my pictures. I hate that so much because that doesn't come off as legitimate to me as much as it should. What are you doing? Oh.
It almost sets up for things not being genuine because like the fakeness is like already there up front.
Yeah.
Like, I could take hearing so much more. I could take just hearing a no or now's not a good time even like thing compared to just like, oh, someone who you'll just say, oh yeah, and they just saying it just to say it.
I'd much rather someone just be real. And it took a while to get to those kinds of people because now I'm just like, I know who I can reach out to, who I can talk to, and people who are very genuine with their intentions have found their way into my life, and I haven't tried it all.
Can you talk about friends versus fam?
Yo, he's
on that
fam.
Note,
Yo, he's fam.
On that note, who you let call fam and who you would consider a friend? Because we was talking about having different definitions of what a friend could be.
There are so many different layers about friendship that can exist.
That I didn't even think about. Because I only think of just friend as a one-word thing.
Yeah.
Either you are or you aren't. And I don't necessarily call people friends that easily.
Yeah.
The fact that you have tiers of like what you would consider friends.
You have
Dope.
It's dope, but it's also sad that you have to have tiers.
What do you mean by tier? First of all, for someone who wouldn't know what that
Carmen, sorry.
No, it's good.
Boo. I need to see you at all times, bro. I don't know what you be over there doing. But, like, someone can be a friend that I want to get to know. And I, like, nowadays, if I meet you and we haven't had a chance to, like, hit it off within, like, the next 2 weeks, like, I make a conscious effort to, like, be around you, to, like, make an effort. Like, hey, you want to, like, grab coffee? You know, I don't even drink coffee, but it's just, like, the idea of, like, getting to, like, fellowship with each other in a neutral setting where we can get to know each other on a deeper level. Like, that's how I met my girl. It's
That's
like,
crazy.
It's like, I don't drink coffee. I was like, you want to grab coffee? And we were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
We were quite literally friends for significant is, I feel like significant should be like a very long time, but in terms of like short period of time, it was friends for a significant amount of time before we were dating. And like, even like actual like platonic friendships, I want to get to know everyone that's come into my life because I've been fortunate enough to have great people come into my life, and I feel like I've naturally attracted a better quality of human in my life, whether it's romantic or platonic. And I try to just get to know, I want everyone, because every friendship isn't going to be the same.
True.
They're not going to be on the same level of comfortability. They're not going to be on the same level of openness and vulnerability. But I want to try to get them to be the same place at the same level, because I don't want to be less vulnerable with this person and more vulnerable. And people vibe off of each other and get to those certain places on their own time, which I'm trying to be more respectful of. But at the end of the day, I want everyone to be like the top tier. Like, I can talk to any of my friends about the same deep dive thing and not feel like I'm either forcing it upon somebody and making them uncomfortable or making myself uncomfortable, because I just feel the need to just express myself to somebody who's like trying to find a friend.
Yeah,
like,
that's nothing worse than somebody who's just trying to find a friend. Like,
yeah,
it's desperate.
It's like
desperate.
That Chappelle. I love Chappelle. He was talking about Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. He was like, you come here. You. Like, I don't want to ever have that be a case with my friends where I have to like, you come here. Like, I'd rather just be like, hey, I can go through my phone and be like, I can talk to any of these people about the same thing that's really affecting my life right now. Mm-hmm. I think that's the goal. I don't want to ever. So fam, to me, it's a different way to refer to a really close friend, but I don't use the word fam often, if ever.
Like, when people say, oh, that's fam, like, I don't really understand that, because I'm just like, oh, okay, so that's like, y'all ride or die.
Yeah.
And when you see them not behave like
the ride or
die that
like,
you would expect fam to, then it's like, what does that word mean to certain people? Like, it means different things to everybody, but like that baseline of what qualifies fam.
Yeah. I need to know. There's not even like a baseline level of knowledge about you that I have to possess, but I do need to know a significant amount of things about you to consider you to be fam. On some like, we had to have talked about some things and like experienced some things for me to be like, oh, that's my brother. I'd rather say like, you're my brother or that's sis, as opposed to that's fam, because fam, every rapper says fam, every kid says fam. Like, I don't like, that's my brother.
Brother or sis is even closer for me.
Yeah, I'd rather that. Like, that's my brother. I would go about doing it that way, because your third cousin is still your fam. That don't mean nothing. You never see your third cousin. He out there somewhere.
Florida.
Right.
You see pictures of him at Christmas. And that's
of all places, Florida too.
Yeah, so they always live in Florida.
He with the crocodiles somewhere. So yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, like, chances are, and some people don't have the closest relationship with their brother or sister still, but like, chances are, for the most part, your brother or your sister you're very close, or you're closer than most people in your life. And I hold more weight to that. I hold more weight to auntie. My aunties be wild. It'd be mad fun to be around my aunts. They're not like crazy, but they're just fun to be around. I'm more vulnerable with my aunt than I am with like most of my homies. So it's like it makes a lot more sense. Like I call like some of my girlfriends out here, I call them auntie. Hey sis, hey auntie.
That's crazy.
And I value that friendship and that interaction. Plus, men are stupid. They're trash. So it's also just like hearing another dude call you fam and you don't know each other because men are stupid.
It sounds clingy.
It sounds not
feels clingy.
It feels clingy, but it's also like we haven't been able to process emotionally what that word means and how much it affects your actual life. And I can call a female friend of mine auntie because they understand the gravity of that term as opposed to like in relation to how deep our friendship is and our relationship is. And that's just hang around more women. Women are smarter. They're better at everything. Stupid.
Is that biological? You feel like that the way that men can communicate with women is more genuine almost in the way that men communicate with men?
There's nothing beats, and I'm saying this not being a woman, but just observing, like nurturing female relationships. Like there's nothing better. Like two women genuinely showing love and affection for one another in a non-toxic, non-competitive, non-abrasive way where it's just genuine love and support and just that is beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be this. I want to be able to cultivate more relationships as much like that with other men, and I'm getting to that now because that's how it should be. I shouldn't have to like. It's not a woman's responsibility to help us as men and myself in particular, like get better at being a man or like being a good human. Like I think I'm becoming better friends with women now because I took time to get better at being me.
That's real.
And it like shows because one, I'm not trying to sleep with nobody. I'm not like, I don't care about any of that. Plus my girl fire, but also like it's just it makes a lot of sense when it comes to intent and like being genuine and generous and respectful and available emotionally. Those things take time, and most men are stupid and don't take the time to do that or like become more in tune with how they're feeling emotionally. Like I said earlier, I'm a crybaby. I don't put much credit and relevance into astrology, but I'm a Cancer. According to the calendar, whatever people say, Cancer is the most emotional. I'm like, I get it. I guess. I get it. I guess.
I do always be crying.
Right. So it's just like sense. It makes sense, but I want to be able to create more meaningful and resounding relationships with men, and I get why it's happening with women. Not that I get along with women more or better or whatever the case is, but just like the emotional reciprocation is there. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to have more genuine conversations with people that with men that are as in depth or as emotionally striking, are just as supportive and relational as possible, and be able to have both like I want to be able to look a male friend and a female friend in the face, or someone who just doesn't express whatever gender, because who cares about that anyway, but like I want to be able to talk to somebody and have the same conversation. And there are different levels of support given certain people, but I want to be able to just have that same level of vulnerability. Like I said, I can go through anyone on my phone and just be like, I'll just talk to her today, or I'll talk to them today. I want to talk to them about the same thing that I'll talk to my mom about, or about to my younger sister. I want to be able to just have those relationships, and I'm getting to those now, 2 years in LA at least.
Do you feel? Hold on, I want to check this real quick.
Is it still going?
Let's see.
Probably not.
Oh, it went to sleep.
It goes to sleep.
Oh, okay.
The red button on the side, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess we keep recording.
Word.
It's at 22%. Do you have another battery?
I don't think so.
If not, we'll just finish it till this one dies, and then
Yeah, there's no
just
extra
use
battery.
audio in school.
But
All right. So, do you feel like that has come from you moving, having better connections with people, just humans in general, being a better human being, or is that a result of something? I feel like I got better at doing that after, and every time I break up with someone, I feel like I get better at doing it. Like being in a relationship, you have to communicate so much, and knowing that men are trash and that we have, especially coming from where we come from, like we've got programs, just like systemic reasons for why we're not able to be emotionally available sometimes, and learning how to get over that, I feel like is a big puzzle piece in terms of figuring out like how you can be the best you possible. And that's just relationships with people, period. So do you feel like it came as a result of something, or you just, as you start to grow as yourself, do you like it gets easier? Not easier, but
I get what you're saying.
you know.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of encompassing factors, and like getting older is one of them. But getting older and having an idea of who you want to be is the result. Because I know some old people who suck.
So you know some stink meaners?
Yeah, I know older people who just suck, who are completely emotionally unavailable, who don't have anything really taken care of with themselves. But you just have to just like make a conscious effort to move forward as opposed to regressing. Relationship did have a hand in it. I don't know how much it had a hand in it. I just think like the change in mentality, because moving out here had nothing to do with it really. I think moving out here tested it because I didn't know anybody, so I had to start from scratch. And also I moved out here when I was 21, so that's like
Hella young.
you're young and it's prime age where you have to like go out and drink and meet people. So it was one of those things where you take on and you learn from your mistakes. And a lot of people that I met when I first moved out here, no one's a mistake, but it was like a lesson. And when we were watching the shop, the Drake one, they were asking LeBron, like, what was your biggest like L that you took, or like what was your like biggest loss? And he was like, my biggest loss was like my greatest achievement. And I was like, oh, that's so corny, LeBron. And then he explains it and was like, all those different mistakes that you made, the only way to go from there is up. So that natural progression of like trial and error, failing, you're gonna get the hang of it eventually. And you're just gonna not talk to certain people because you can just sense just by looking at them like, oh, we're not gonna get along. We're not gonna connect in a way that's conducted to my life. That was it. I don't think like
That's not automatic for some people.
No,
some people don't learn from their mistakes.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You feel me? Like
I say that with also saying I'm still making mistakes.
But you're aware of the fact that you're making and learning from them, though.
Yeah.
Like that's the spot that you want to get to, not like making the shit and then just blaming someone for
it's all
why
on
it
me.
didn't happen. Yeah.
It's all on me. Anything that I do that results poorly in my own life, it's all on me. I'm comfortable enough taking that responsibility and making making it known that it's my fault. Because a lot of stuff that I do that's bad is my fault. I don't have a problem taking that responsibility because it's wrong to put it on somebody else. That should be that's like a rule of thumb. Like, if you did something bad and you did it, don't blame anybody else because they didn't do it. It seems like it's common sense, but nowadays common sense is very uncommon.
And then certain situations that where it happens, it also doesn't always make itself that easy to make it that black and white.
Yeah.
Like checking it out.
Just go around, lazy. But yeah, there's a lot of contributing factors to it, but I think all of them put together made my experience here more pleasurable in terms of getting to know people, because some people that I met when I first moved out here introduced me to people that I'm friends with now, and I don't talk to the person who introduced me to them.
That's crazy.
So it's like, and some people just come and go in your life and you have to just accept it, which I'm like, all right, cool. But there's also people who play a role in your life and you may not know. The role in your life may be unspecified, but it'll reveal itself to you eventually. And if you reflect upon your own life and like your day to day, you get to realize, like, oh, that person was a catalyst in this way in my life. They don't necessarily have to be like the best friend ever. If they were able to push you in any direction, really, because if you're not learning from being pushed in the wrong direction, you're never going to learn from being pushed in the right one. So even if they push me in the wrong direction, if I reflect upon my life as much as I should, I'll be able to like, oh, don't be around those people anymore. Just hang around with them. And it's not like a shot at anybody. Just some people just play a certain part in your life. And you have to just be like, everyone come here. And then I get to just like, all right, you go away, you stay over here. Sometimes you come in. It's just like you get to just like not play around with, but be very aware and conscious of the different things that people can or cannot do in your own life. Carmen.
Being more like deliberate with people.
Yeah. I don't ever want to like fear for my own sanity when I'm around people that I don't want to be around, so I'm just not going to be around you. You're mad lazy. Can't you just go around? Go. You're stuck? Now you don't want to go anymore? What are you doing, bro? Alright, just lay down. Thank you.
Fucked up.
But, yeah, dude, people in LA suck a lot less when you have that mentality. Because you see people all the time. But you have to be able to, like, be aware of people's intentions. If I see somebody wearing, it's hard to not judge based off appearance, strictly appearance, and I try to be a lot more open to that too. Like, okay, if you're wearing such and such and such and such brand, I probably don't have anything to talk to you about. But I talk to you, I'm like, huh, it's just clothes. So if I just have a more open mind about things, chances are I'll and sometimes people who are wearing such and such brands are trash, but I have to at least give myself space to want to approach that person, or like just listen to what they have to say if they approach me. Those kinds of conversations and interactions contribute to better art. If I just Quincy Jones thing, if I leave a certain amount of air for God or whatever, whoever you worship or whatever you like pay attention to spiritually, if I leave a lot of room for that or them, I have less control, but things come my way a lot better. I don't want to control too much of my art, but the end result, I want to be in full control of expressing or displaying it. But when I'm creating something, I leave a lot of room for, like the Joker said, there's a lot of room for aggressive expansion.
Just letting shit breathe.
Letting everything breathe. And it's like, there's tryouts. People can come and go, and like, he broke the pool stick over, and he's like, there's tryouts, just go for it. You have to make it so people aren't competing to be in your life, but they're trying to be their best selves, so that when they present themselves into your life, they are their best selves, to be their best selves with you.
I've never thought of it like that.
Like, I want to be able to help the people in my life become their best selves for them, but also it should be as selfless as possible, and I'm trying to do it from a selfless point of view, but also be aware that if I'm selflessly helping someone be their best selves, chances are they're going to be their best selves and help me
become your best self.
Help me become my best self. And everyone should be working to be it's not a self, it's like weird, but everyone should work on being their best selves themselves. But if you surround yourself with people and selflessly help them, they'll selflessly help you. And the aggressive expansion when it comes to creating things or just being around certain people that help you be yourself at the highest level, or create at the highest level you can possibly create, those things mean a lot more. And I leave a lot of room for that to happen. I don't want to take up too much room or take up too much space or thought or process, because as meticulous as I can be with my creative endeavors or my career endeavors, I've noticed that if I just let it rock, chances are it'll just come my way naturally anyway. So I'm like, oh yeah, you can. I'll just buy the film. Like, oh, you want to shoot? And all of my Molesky notebooks, like, I have all my ideas written down. And there's this artist that I want to shoot when she gets back from Baltimore. Hi, Eva. She's really good. I sat on the floor when she sang, and I cried because it was tight. And I want to shoot her. And I wrote some ideas down. And I was like, half of the role I have ideas for. The other half are just blank. I'm like, just whatever happens. So I try to leave some room for just things to just happen. I don't want to take up too much space, because when you take up too much space, unless it's like super specific, leave room. And even if it is super specific, leave like a little bit of room for things to just naturally flow the way they are. I'm going to give you a bath, because you need to stop doing that. And
you've been talking for an hour and a half.
Tight.
All right. So look, I got one more thing we can talk about.
Yeah.
Teaching.
Word.
So we're both teachers. I've taught online for 4 years now. Mm-hmm. You've taught in real life for how long?
2.5. I say 2.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about, like, compare and contrast, because teaching in real life is very different from teaching like online. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like, the first probably biggest difference is just the fact that it's not physical. Mm-hmm. Like, the energy that you give, at least that I have given to my students in the past, is through a screen. Mm-hmm. You have a one-to-one interaction with multiple students that you have to consistently maintain. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about what that's like, teaching in real life?
Draining.
Today's kids.
It's draining, but it's the best draining ever. It's the people who don't know. I've only been doing art for like 4 years, 3-4 years. I'm good at it, but it's only been 3 to 4 years. Teaching is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. It's like I prepared myself, and I grew up in a house full of teachers, so I knew, like, oh, this is gonna be tight, but also suck at the same time. So yeah, it's draining. You have to take into account so many different things that you do and say and wear and act upon, and you have to constantly be thinking, like, how will the shirt that I wear affect how this kid behaves today? Because will he be paying attention to my shirt or to 2 + 2 = 4? Like, I skate to work every day, and I wear the shoes that I skate in. It's either a pair of Vans or those Comme des Garçons Chucks. I get questions about my Chucks every time I wear them. I'm considering just not wearing them anymore. But
Questions like what?
Where'd you get them? Like, I saw them on StockX. So, like, how much did you pay? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
They own it like that?
They're middle school. They care. They care about clothes more than they care about school. Every kid, like, they draw, like, Supreme logos in their notebooks. They want to have, like, the newest Odd Future, whatever. That's probably
This is the camera.
Yeah. But they, like, that matters a lot more than some of the schoolwork that they're doing. And we have created an environment where schoolwork does mean a lot and they are growing, but the pace of consumption is completely off. Like, the ratio of fast food media consumption to slow-paced schoolwork is completely off. Like, there's so much more they can see on their phones in 10 seconds than they can see on the classroom in 5 minutes. So it's like they care about what I'll wear. The dress code at school for staff is not crazy. So I'll wear, like, button-down shirt with, like, shirt open, like a cause t-shirt. I'm like, oh, I saw that because this rapper wore that. Where'd you get it? I'm like, did you pay $1 million for it? I'm like, no, bro, I paid $10 for this at Uniqlo. Go to the Beverly Center. It's down 3rd. We live on 3rd. Just go down the street. It's like those things matter a lot. But in terms of, like, actually teaching things, the interactions you have to kind of scaffold and build upon. Because first year teaching, I started teaching after school. So it's like you get the kids at their craziest. Because
end of the day,
they've been in school for 8-9 hours, sometimes 10 hours a day. They don't care about nothing. I have to find ways to make them care about the schoolwork after school and also help them have fun in a safe way. So it was like relationship building and butting heads over, like, you're still at school, you can't be wild.
Mm-hmm.
And then putting that on top of, like, now I teach those same kids during the day. And I made them a promise. I'm like, dude, I'm going to teach you guys until you graduate middle school. I said that last year in 5th grade. Now I'm teaching them in 6th grade. Now I'm teaching 8th grade and hopefully taking over a full class in 8th grade in the next year and a half. So I'll literally be, like, the last teacher they see before they go to high school. So it's like, I'm going to be there for a minute. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. But the relationships that I've built with these kids is unreal. Because I know, it's weird to say, like, I know more about them sometimes than their own parents do. Because they come to school and the walls come down. They're with their friends and they're like, I can't say who, I would never say who, but, like, kids are coming out to me. Kids are, like, talking about abuse in a way that's, like, playful, which is crazy. But it like, they don't understand the gravity of what it is that they've gone through. And even if they do, they're comfortable enough with me to just talk about it in such a way that's super nonchalant, and it's nuts. But it's like those kind of things you take into account when you're teaching them about Mesopotamia or, like, early hominids. Like, those things are, to me particularly, the academia is secondary to the, like, teaching you how to be a good person. Because I can teach you, and I'm learning Spanish because of them too, because they're all Latino. And there's a couple black kids, but there's no white kids, which is amazing. But it's like, I'm learning about their culture and trying to use that to get closer to them in a genuine way and teach them how to be better people first, and, like, basic principles of humanity. Being empathetic, showing compassion, not being a dirtbag to your friends because you think it's cool. Not talking, oh, your shoes are fake. Who cares? Everyone there wears fake clothes. No one can. That's why they wear uniforms. Because not everyone can afford to look cool in school, and, like, the hierarchy of, like, popularity based on what you're wearing, it's stupid. So, like,
it's a false construct.
Yeah. Completely. So it's like a matter of being able to show them the ways in which they should go while introducing concepts that are going to aid them in being better humans and being knowledgeable on certain things that are kind of required in today's society. Like, who made the light bulb? Or basic math, even complex math. Biggest question I get in math is like, when are we going to ever use this? And I asked the same thing when I was a kid. When are we going to use this in real life? I was like, you will. You just got to get paid. You had to get a job so you can learn how to do those things. Because if you get paid, you got to talk about taxes. You're gonna
report that shit.
You're gonna report everything that's missing in your paycheck. So you gonna learn how to do this because you need to learn percentages and ratios and all this other stuff. And then like if you want a house, measurement, learning how to like interpret data to like do things for your own home and your own space. There's a lot of different practical applications of certain things that I'm teaching, but it's like I said, it's draining. Like, dude, like this whole week has been rough because this whole month is going to be difficult only because like the changing of schedules, and we're going to the second quarter, which is like we're no longer introducing you to middle school anymore or to 8th grade anymore, but now we're getting to it like full on. And those things take a lot of time, and it's going to be fun. I'm enjoying myself, but also I was saying the other day, I need to take care of myself a lot better. And I know once I'm done with this book, I can like finally relax for a little bit. And by relax, I mean like still shoot, but not stay up till 3 a.m. Like I'm going to be still actively creating things, but also like making space for myself. Like I don't have to like open up InDesign to just tweak things about the book. I can just like I can just like chill when I get home and like still buy film and shoot, but also like not have to worry about publishing anything. Like there's certain things that I can and will do to make things easier for myself, because as much as I'm trying to teach them to be reflective about their process of learning and being better students and being better people, I have to do the same thing as a better educator and a better artist and a better human. Like I've been talking about doing a face mask for like a week. I ain't done it once. So I'm like, I gotta, like, my skin is suffering. I've been sleeping a lot more, which is great, towards the tail end of the week, which is really nice. But like now I'm just trying to get back into the habit of doing better things to help better the lives of the children that I'm in front of every day. Because they all live around here. So it's not like I don't see them. I live
every time we've gone out, you've bumped into one of your students.
Every time.
Yeah,
whether
everywhere.
I'm running with the run club, whether I'm walking to get breakfast, whether I'm just kicking it, whether I'm skating with Carmen, like I see them all the time. It's like I'm embedded into their neighborhood. I'm a part of their society and their mini culture now. And I take that very seriously. And I don't want to ever have to like leverage that to get them to be more successful. I just want to perform as an educator at a higher level each time I'm in front of them. And it's a growing process, because you can plan for everything to go right, but then you get to work that day and everyone's off. Like when I told you like everyone had a bad day at the same time, that happens more often than people expect, but it's like you have to just roll with it. It's the most adaptive career that I've ever seen anyone take on, because you're rolling with punches all day long. There's like nothing ever really goes according to plan as you planned it completely. Nothing. And it's sick, because then you get to like test your own boundaries and your own wits to see how you can reformat what it is you had the idea to do in a way that can tie back in with what you were talking about. Because I help teach 6th and 8th grade math, as well as 6th and 8th grade English language arts, which is basically English class. And like for English more specifically, like we just go off on tangents about just life stuff, especially in 8th grade because they're a little bit more mature. We will lose a day of what we plan to do, but we'll try to find a way to tie in. I say we because the lead teacher in the class, Evelyn, she's great. She's so good at those kids. But it's like we try to build upon the last class and tie in everything that we did in the class discussion beforehand to like what we're doing now. We're reading this book by Sherman Alexie, Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. And recently Sherman was like, past couple of years, he's been like outed for a lot of like sexual misconduct and harassment type stuff. And it's crazy because in the book, the main character shows signs of like suspect behavior and thought processes, and it's like all the blueprint was right there. The main character's creepy. Sherman's probably creepy too. And then all the Brett Kavanaugh stuff comes out, and we stopped the whole day and was like, we're gonna watch the Kavanaugh interview and Dr. Ford interview and see what happened. Like, try to talk about that, and then we're like, oh, by the way, the book that we're reading, the author's also a creep too. We're gonna finish the book because it's a good book, but you just see like certain signs along the way and like tie everything in to make everything make sense. And it's like those kinds of things that you just think on your feet, and you get really good at thinking on your feet. And it's great. And there's a lot of thinking on your feet, but there's also so much meticulous planning and like gathering of resources and all that kind of stuff to just make one day. Mm-hmm. And it's a job that goes completely unnoticed or unthanked.
Pay our teachers more.
It's a thankless job for sure.
Our teachers need to be thanked more.
Yeah.
Thank a teacher.
Because you don't realize like how much, even if you never remember the teacher's name, you see yourself acting out the things that they taught you on a daily basis. And it's crazy. You never realize it until you like see it towards the end of your life, where you're like, man, I did all this stuff, and it's because of these like 14 people. And I'm talking just teachers, because I say anyone who works at a school is a teacher to me. Because the second you walk in the door, someone's teaching you how to say hello in the morning, greet somebody, someone's teaching you how to follow the school rules, someone's teaching you how to get your lunch properly, someone's teaching you how to use the bathroom appropriately with manners and etiquette, someone's teaching you how to do everything that you have to do throughout the school day. And even if it's their job to teach you and you don't follow it, they're still teaching you something. So it's outside of the pre-K to 12th grade and 4 years of college, and sometimes going on to get extra degrees and whatever, there's 13 years, including pre-K. So 17 people have a direct hand in your life. 17 to 18 people. Those are all the teachers you'll ever have in your whole life. If you just go from pre-K to senior year of high school, graduate, and go to 4 years of college, 17 to 18 people. You don't remember everything they taught you. You don't remember their names most of the time, but you remember everything that they did for you in your life. And some people are fortunate enough to directly grab from one experience and be like, that's what that person did. In this experience, that's what that person did. I don't have the best memory to be like, okay, this teacher did this and it helped me do this. But like, I can remember all the things that they all collectively taught and brought into my life. And yeah, it's a beautiful job to have. It's definitely very thankless, but it's one of those things where you have to be able to give without trying to get anything in return. Because if you constantly beg for reciprocation from an 8-year-old, you're not going to get it. It's like shaking. They say thank you. You're not going to get it because they don't realize what's happening in front of them. They just think Mr. Davis is trying to be mad about math. It's being mean. It's not the case. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. Teaching is tight.
I've learned so much from it, but
yeah,
on a different level that you have, because
yeah,
I'm doing it behind the screen, but
it's tight. I'd rather do it in a way where I have that interaction, just because you don't realize like these are little adults. These kids know a lot more than we give them credit for. They know a lot more information, they just don't know what to do with it. And I'm just the one who just tells them what to do with it. They can learn just about anything on YouTube. They don't need me. But they don't need me to learn information. They need me to learn like how to be a good person. You take the information that you get, that you can find just about anywhere nowadays, and partner that with being a good person, you can do anything you want in life. Anything you want in life. Mm. So it's like I'd rather be a part of the being a good person part. And I'm sure there are people who can teach you that on a screen, but I'd much rather do it in person.
is different. Like the skills part of it, you can like you said, you could teach that anywhere because there's YouTube and all these different platforms to learn. So like the actual technical things you can learn, but the actual like holding your posture, like your face, like the stuff that you teach in real life, that has so much more to do with like what you're going to turn into, what kind of learner you're going to be, and what kind of worker you're going to be, your person. All of that is affected just from like your experiences in the classroom, which I respect. I think that's dope that you're doing that, and that you're teaching our kids, and you have the desire to like elevate that experience of what their education can be.
It's the first reason why I wanted to teach. Outside of just me always knowing that I wanted to do it. People be like, "Why you want to be a teacher?" And my initial response was always like, "These kids are stupid," which is very dismissive because kids are so smart. But my interpretation of what kids were consuming is stupid. Kids are consuming stupid things at an alarming rate. I hate Fortnite so much, but it's just crap that they just consume at an alarming rate. But they're so smart about it. They're not stupid at all. What they're being introduced to is stupid. They just need someone to tell them, you can either make a career out of this and make it like productive, or here's a better way to interpret the stupid things that are being introduced to you at an alarming rate.
Like how to sort through it.
How to sort through it. Yeah. These kids aren't stupid. And I feel bad thinking about it now. Like, I feel bad for like that being my one reason. Because kids aren't stupid. Now, the more I am in the classroom, the more it's becoming visible to me that kids are naturally just very smart. They just need to be pushed in the right direction. That's it. That's my job. Just push them in the right direction. And there are different directions to go for a lot of these kids. And the more like all these tech jobs and coding and Tesla and all these other different careers are coming up, there are new ways to push kids, and I have to learn those ways and help to push them in that way too. But it's like I can push everybody. I'd rather help push you than sit there and watch you just go in the wrong place.
Yeah. Loaded, man. What are we coming up on? How long have we been talking for? Hour and 42 minutes.
This is Joe Budden from the Joe Budden Podcast. And
you got anything coming up that you want to plug or promote for what you got coming up?
I wrote a book. I didn't really write a book. I made People of Paradise. I don't know when it's going to come out, but if you live in LA, I better see your face. Or if I don't see your face, it's okay. You just got to buy the book. If you don't buy the book, just say hi. You know, just say hello. But the book's called People of Paradise. The show's called People of Paradise. And then I plan creative projects well in advance. So after People of Paradise, it's a book of photos that I take with my phone called I Always Got It On Me. And it's very funny and it's stupid, but it's very interested in that because I take some pretty good photos on my phone and it's weird. But I Always Got It On Me. And then it's a book called Crabs in a Bucket. It's a whole thing about gang culture. And then I wrote a short film that I'm probably going to do after this People of Paradise thing called God is a Woman. And then there's the penultimate short film called The South is Burning. And after that, I got to come up with new ideas. But yeah, People of Paradise is first.
So where can people interact with all of your stuff?
The internet, unfortunately. ADMDAV on Instagram. That's it. I don't have any other. I have Twitter. I don't use it anymore. If you want to follow me on Twitter so I can keep the name active, please do. It's Brefmints. BREFFMINTS.
You still have Brefmints?
Still got Brefmints, bro. I haven't tweeted in like
I haven't tweeted in like
3 years, yeah. But just keep the name active so they don't kick off my name off the account. So just follow me so they know people are still interacting with it. But yeah, Adam Dave, because my name is Adam Davis, and apparently Adam Davis is taken by many white men, so I can't have my whole name, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a plug.
Thanks for sitting down.
Of course, dude. I'm at the house. That's the best possible scenario.
get in line to come see this man's work, because pretty soon you won't be able to get it.
That's the goal. Well, I want it to be accessible, but I want it to be hard.
Oh yeah, be accessible.
I'll be accessible, but you gotta wait.
Be a wait list.
You gotta be in line for a little bit.
Be in line for that shit, yeah. All right, Brody. Let's go to the beach or something.
Let's get out of
here.
here.
Out of here. Been inside. It's a beautiful day.
It's nice out.
But thank you all for listening for this long. I don't know if I'll put the full post up, but can definitely condense some of it.
Yeah.
But you got anything else you want to shout out?
All black people go to heaven.
Lit. All right, we out of here.